Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel for another video. I hope you're all doing very well. Hope you're having a good week so far. Just thought I'd come on here and discuss a bit more about the Michael Duff appointment, our new head coach of course. Obviously I did go on a live stream just after the news had broke, but just a bit of reflection now. Obviously I've kind of had a few days to think about it and I still feel the exact same way, but we're going to get into that. And I'm going to kind of share my thoughts on if I think he can actually get us up at the first attempt back to the championship, where we belong, by the way, where we belong, yeah. I don't care if we've been battling relegation for the past 10 out of the 12 seasons, yeah. We are not a League One club, we're a bigger club than League One. And no disrespect, by the way, no disrespect to League One, but I just think we are, the fact that we've stayed in the championship for so long, we did become, a side that, that kind of, I don't think we cemented our place in the championship because obviously we were fighting relegation a lot of the time, but you get what I'm saying. We were in the championship for a good amount of time, and we'd kind of become accustomed to be a championship club, if you get me. So yeah, look, I think that hopefully, but we're going to answer that, and obviously we're going to get into the appointment now about the new head coach. Michael Duff coming in. Look, like I said, I still feel the same way, to be honest with you. I do. I think it's a solid appointment. I think the record that he has in League One, absolutely fantastic record. He, like I say, knows the league inside out, and ultimately, he has had success in League One. So I think for me, the timing of it, we never do things early, by the way. But the fact that we've got him in so early is fantastic, and finally a bit of organisation. Maybe that's some promising signs to come. I'm not getting my hopes up, guys, by the way, but I'm just saying it is a good start here. But the reality is he needs to be backed over the summer. He needs to be backed and get the players he wants to be able to play his system. I think that really you can't argue with his record with what he's done at each club, and we're kind of going to get into it now with the, with his career so far. Anybody that doesn't know Michael Duff, I'm just going to get my notes up now, guys. Just 1 second for me. But yeah, like I say, I think it is an appointment that it might not. It's not an exciting appointment, is it? It's not an exciting one. Let's be honest with you. A bit like when Darren Moore came in, there was no real excitement, was there, over it? But the reality is we're in a position where we are in League One now, and I don't think we just need stability. We need stability, and I do believe that this guy can provide that. And I think it is a very shrewd appointment. And I've had a look at the overall feeling on social media from upcoming journalists and things like that, and they've all said the same thing. It's a fantastic appointment for us. They can see it working out for him at the club, and so it's not just our fans actually kind of saying this is a good appointment. It's other people outside the club as well that are saying it as well. So that's promising to me too. But I can't seem to find my notes, guys. God, the joy. I should have been more organised than this. But yeah, like I said, just to summarise, I am happy with. I am happy with it, to be honest with you. I'm not excited over it like none of us are. Found the notes now. But I just think this could be a very clever move, but ultimately we have to give this guy time now to build something. This is meant to be a rebuild now, right? We've reset. It's a rebuild. I'll stick to my word on this. I will not be calling for his head at any point, even when it gets tough. Or if it gets tough, when it gets tough, we will have tough spells. Even if it gets tough, I'm going to stick by this man, right? And I've been accused of not sticking by managers in the past, i.e. Andre Brighton Writer, never been convinced about him. Darren Moore, I knew within a month or so. I know people were saying give him time, but I knew within a month that it was just a horrible appointment. But yeah, this guy, I have a. Even though I wasn't feeling excited about the Moore appointment, I think with Michael Duff, where it's different is I kind of had more hope with Duff. I just feel a bit more better about the appointment over Moore. So yeah, look, give him time, back him in the summer with the players he wants, and let's really go on a new journey with him. A new journey with our new head coach, and yeah, I think sometimes though, as fans, we do get I do anyway. As a fan, I do get caught up in the fact that when a new manager comes in, I get carried away. I get, oh, this is going to be so amazing. It's going to be special, and then it backfires on me. I did that with Andre Brighton, like for example. I did that with him. I looked at his CV. I thought, wow, this is amazing. We're gonna have Wagner 2.0 and all this. And I started to get all carried away, but how wrong was I? So yeah, we are guilty of getting carried away. I'm just gonna kind of stay reserved, but I'm gonna say that yeah, look, I have no reservations about the appointment. I think I was asking for an experienced manager in League One, and that's what I got. So for me to turn around and say, well, I don't feel excited, so he shouldn't have been appointed, I think that would just be hypocritical. So yeah, I think I'm very happy with it. So anybody that doesn't know Michael Duff, obviously his playing career only involved 2 clubs, can you believe, with Cheltenham, where he made 300 appearances between 1997 and 2004. Then he moved to Burnley, where he played until 2016, making 342 appearances. He also made 24 appearances for his country as a Northern Ireland international. So yeah, he made 24 appearances for his country. I think, kind of, just thinking a bit back to when he was playing, I think my overall kind of memory, that I don't really remember it too, but kind of what I kind of remember is that kind of a no-nonsense and fairly average central defender. Now at Burnley, he stepped to become a coach in Sean Dyche's backroom team when he became that sort of age when his playing opportunities were really limited. Then took the opportunity to move into his first managerial role when his first club, Cheltenham Town, needed a manager. He did a decent job with Cheltenham too, steadying the ship in League Two, and in the first season there. And then the second season was obviously the COVID. That was kind of ruined it for quite a few managers. So the COVID season was there, but they were 5th when the season stopped. So were given a playoff spot where they lost in the semis. Then the first season back after COVID, he went up as League Two champions with Cheltenham Town. The next season, Duff established Cheltenham in League One with a 15th place finish, and the following summer moved to Burnley, feeling he had taken obviously Cheltenham as far as he could. Then the next season, Duff, then the job he did at Barnsley was quite relevant too, to the situation he's kind of inheriting at our club, as Barnsley were reeling from relegation, had to sell most of their better players, and a few expected them to do very well. He managed to kind of galvanise that group, the dressing room, and make them a solid League One outfit that finished in the playoff positions, just narrowly losing out in the playoff final to Sheffield Wednesday. And by the way, small margins in that game, by the way. Decisions going against them. Barnsley were the better team, and they deserved to go up. So, look, that's the playoffs for you. But then that achievement earned him a move to Swansea, where he was involved in their kind of restructure following Russell Martin's exit. It was a mismatch from the start, wasn't it? Really, I said this before. Look, I hold my hand up and say that when he was linked with us before, I mentioned the Swansea job, and I said, look, he's done very well at Swansea. I'm a bit reserved about him coming in. This was before when we were wanting another manager before. How many times have we said that? But now, thinking about it seriously, I think that, look, I think that it was never really a good fit, was it? Swansea's kind of style of play is that tippy-tappy football that they've been renowned for over the years, right? And yeah, he was never really the guy to take him in. So I think that it was just complete mismatches, which is why he went so badly at Swansea. It's not because he's a bad manager. It's just because it wasn't. It was just never going to work there. And obviously, he only won 6 of his 21 games and was sacked. But surprisingly, as we look at the stats, surprisingly though, his failure at Swansea saw him achieve a better win percentage than Darren Moore, Mark Fotheringham, and Andre Brightonwriter. So even when he's at his worst, he was better than 3 out of the 4 past managers. So if you look at it like that, yeah, it is a good sign. What kind of football does Duff play? If anybody wants to know about that. I mean, look, I haven't watched much of Duff's teams play, so I've had to do a bit of research. But like I said, what I can gather, he prefers a 3-5-2 formation with the wing backs playing relatively far forward, and the wide central defenders filling in the gaps left behind. There are usually 2 defensive-minded midfielders and one with a more attacking remit, and the 2 strikers are expected to hustle the defenders and score goals. The system he likes to play, looking at the reports that I've seen, involves keeping a disciplined shape and working hard off the ball to force the opposition into mistakes. So I think, like I said, improving the fitness levels within the squad is obviously going to be of high priority in pre-season, because like I said, the players just were never fit, were they, all season, due to the pre-season, which, like I said, the problem is with chopping and changing managers is the manager that is in that position in pre-season prepares the team for that season. And Neil Warnock is very much old school, and his teams aren't about fitness. So that's why if you bring in Neil Warnock back, you should have stuck him with him instead of sacking him after 7 games. Yeah. So look, it's just the chaos that the decision making at the top has become, hasn't it, lately? It's just a circus. But yeah, going back to the point. Going back to the points, I've lost my track of thought now. I've gone off on a tangent. Now in possession, he's not a long ball merchant, but he's equally not too fussed about playing it out from the back. There's not a big emphasis on that, and it's more of a kind of a pragmatic approach. Picking the approach most suited for the opposition on the day. So yeah, very, very, very versatile in adapting to his playing, but always sticking to his key values, which we'll get into. Because I was very impressed, by the way, with what he had to say, his first words as the head coach. I was impressed with. I know it's only words, but I think he does. I feel like he gets us more than the previous managers have, i.e. Darren Moore. Brighton, I don't think he ever really got the club. People can disagree, but that's just my opinion. And like I say, the fact that he did, he played under Sean Dyche for a long time will no doubt become apparent quickly, as he is that kind of high octane expectation from his team. So that real standard is there. You know, put it in more simple terms, it means that, you know, he wants his players to get the ball forward quickly and get in the face of the opposition. This, like I said, this may not be, you know, the most attractive, fancy, pretty football, but if he gets results, it's fun to watch. But it can seem a bit basic. Yeah, so if like I say, if he gets results, it's fine, but it's fun to watch. But if it doesn't, it can seem a bit basic. Yeah, so now obviously, like I say, Michael Duff was linked to us back in January, and obviously we didn't end up pursuing him because he was very widely linked to the job. And I think at the time, if you remember, one of the stumbling blocks I seem to recall is that he wasn't prepared to, you know, relocate up north. Like I say, he was down south with his family. Obviously, his kids were at school, so he didn't want to relocate. However, though, it did seem apparent, you know, in Nagel's video diaries that it wasn't true, that rumour. It was dismissed, and it came from nowhere, that one. So now, like I say, Duff obviously was the bless me, was one of the front runners, but kind of he was edged out by Brighton, right, because of the Germans' pedigree in top level continental leagues. And I think, like I say, it's a very sensible choice to go with Michael Duff now. Like I say, I think Duff will do a lot better job of keeping the dressing room disciplined, particularly if he's learned his management techniques from Sean Dyche, who's obviously relatively not known. Well, he definitely isn't known. Not relatively, he's not known for being a softie, so he doesn't take any rubbish from his players. So you expect that kind of approach. Now, I do want to go through the positives of this appointment, and then I'm going to get into a bit of the negative side of it, even though the positives outweigh the negatives. Like I mentioned before, Duff has got a good level of experience of League One, and like I say, has been successful with Barnsley and Cheltenham, based on what they expected to achieve. Like I said again, he took over Barnsley in similar circumstances to us, just relegated. Like I said, morale low, key players leaving, and then he got them into the playoffs at the first time of asking. His philosophy as well should fit the club: hard working, disciplined, nothing too fancy, results driven. That's what it is. That's what his philosophy is, and that fits in just fine with us. Of course it does. All these values: hard working, being disciplined. Okay, I don't think we're too fussed about the style of football that we have at the club, to be honest with you. So yeah, nothing too fancy, and results. We want results. So yeah, it's results. So it fits the club. Now, I did obviously mention that he's not hugely exciting, but the reality is he should bring a bit of stability. After the years of chopping and changing managers every few months, it's just been comical, hasn't it? Really. I certainly, another point I want to make, I think he can grow with the club. He's relatively young for a manager. So if he does well, there's no reason that he can't be in charge for a long time and improve alongside the team. So yeah, it is good that way. Also, the fact he's been out of work, means he should hopefully be ready to hit the ground running. He'll be refreshed and get straight into plotting our promotion bid, which is what we all want. And final point in the positives, unlike our previous head coach, he doesn't think this level of football is beneath him. And Andre Brandtwright spoke about that, didn't he? He didn't think that League One was his level, which, to be fair, I said before and I'll say it again, I think Andre was a coward for what he said. But anyway, that's going off on a tangent again, which I tend to do on these videos. I apologise, but he was a coward. He called out everything. He called out the players. He called out, the culture and everything, and he called out, everything. And then he's just gone. He's just gone back and just left us. So again, I go back to it. It was more about his reputation and protecting his reputation than about the club's interest. Why he said the things that he did, and the timing of it is pretty evident, to suggest that. But anyway, getting back to the point, I do tangent, but I just love talking about town and football. So yeah, I think that the reality is Duff will relish the challenge of League One, so that's good. Now the negatives, there's only a few guys. I always have to give a balanced view, and that's what I'll do. Now, obviously, there is a few kind of concerns and question marks that kind of hang over Michael Duff at the moment, I would say. But I suppose you could say that with every manager. So I don't think it's about being negative. It's just about, kind of just giving a bit, an overall viewpoint. Obviously, like I said, I did mention before, first point I want to make is that Duff did have a bad time in his last job at Swansea. He didn't connect with the fans. He struggled to connect with the fans. Was that because the football wasn't really, it wasn't really what the fans were wanting in terms of that approach that they've gone with for years in terms of tippy-tappy kind of football. So maybe that's why he didn't connect. He didn't implement a style of player that could get results. And obviously he got sacked before he could settle in properly. Now this was Duff's first step up to the Championship. Questions, might remain about his ability to coach at that level. But personally, I think that Swansea are a kind of a unique team with unusual expectations. Now the second point I want to make is about the the issue about kind of Duff's living arrangements was probably unfairly publicised in January, as Neil Warnock's family stayed on the south coast whilst he was managing up here, and nobody said anything about that. However, I seem to kind of remember Dean Hoyle saying Chris Powell lived in London while he was managing town, and his frequent early train time impacted on training. So I suppose kind of the practicalities of his living circumstances may or may not be an issue. I hope it isn't. Honestly, if he said he wants the job and he's going to be fully committed, then he can commute in from wherever he wants, and that's his business in my eyes. But it's worth raising this as a concern because it's going to be an ongoing talking point, this, I think. And I just especially if Town lose a few games under him, there will be questions that'll come up pretty much straight away about that. That'll be one of the first things that I mentioned. But look, I have kind of said about the location kind of side of it. Personally, I like a manager or a head coach, whatever you want to call them, to be around the surroundings, and I suppose it's all about results. If he gets results and he's commuting up and back and forth from down south, then does it really matter? Probably not. But I just prefer a manager that I'm not saying he's not fully committed, but I just prefer a manager that's in and around the community, obviously in and around the place. And I just think it'll be more kind of, if he's commuting, I think he'll still be a lot. Obviously, as the head coach, he's going to be massively involved. But I just don't think if he's not living in this area, is he going to be able to be as hands on as what he'd like in terms of, like I said, the practicalities of it all. So I don't know. I'm a bit umming and ahhing about it, really, if I'm honest with you. I think that on one hand, I'm thinking, yeah, fair enough. Duff. If he wants to live down south and commute, and obviously stay the odd night in a hotel or whatever, then that's fair enough. And if he gets results, then that's fine. But if he doesn't, then it does become a problem. So I'm a bit on the fence with it, really. Now, like I said, the final point I want to make is that it's not a wow appointment, as I said. It's not a wow appointment. And I'm not trying to disrespect Michael Duff, by the way, because I think obviously you can't hide what he's done in his short time as a manager. He's done very well for himself, hasn't he? Really, he has had a success. But I just think that he doesn't have the kind of gets you off your seat kind of factor, that some managers may have. This might be as much of a positive as it is a negative for him, as we, like I say, need stability and a workhorse rather than the showman. Rather than a showman is the right approach right now. So I think that we want somebody that is a workhorse rather than a showman. And like I say, it's kind of I think he's a decent appointment, but I'm not kind of jumping up and down about the appointment. But if I win our first couple of games, that will obviously quickly change. That for me, I think it will start. But you know what? I shouldn't have said what I said when I've done this video. Looking back, if we do get off to a good start, I think stuff. Yeah, and maybe I should have just kept quiet. But this is part of YouTube. Obviously, I'm here to share my opinions. So yeah, just to summarise though, I think this is a sensible appointment for me. After relegation, we need someone in the job who can give us the best possible chance of a quick return to the Championship. So someone with experience in League One is essential. We said this. And I think going for experience over potential makes sense at this point too. Like I say, it can be tempting to go for the next new shiny thing in football, but if we can keep trying to find the next, obviously David Wagner and Carlos Corberan, we risk instead saddling ourselves with more Fotheringham and Sieverts. So I think someone who knows what he's doing and has been around the block is a very smart move. Now, looking at his record in terms of win percentages at Duff and the number of goals his team score, we should expect some good times under him. If he can deliver similar results while he's at Huddersfield Town, there's every reason to think he should be able to replicate those kind of achievements given the players he will have available and the resources, the lack of resource at his disposal in the transfer market to bring new players in. But obviously there is still a bit of a doubt about or uncertainty about exactly what shape the squad will be in next season. That'll be interesting to see how that happens, how that develops. And I think that but for me, it's more of a cautious feeling at the moment, I think, because we've been here before with many other managers, and I've said this myself, there is usually that bit of optimism, when a new manager comes in and, that honeymoon period, if you could say so. But that can be very short-lived in football if things don't start well. And obviously, I'm on about, when the season starts again. For example, Darren Moore, was much loved by fans of his former clubs when he arrived at town, albeit with some kind of warnings about the style of play. So, yeah. And even Matt Fotheringham had some glowing references from respected coaches in Germany. So I just think we'll have to see how things pan out, really. I'm not going to sit here and say, he's going to, he's going to be amazing, special, and this is the start of an exciting new era. We just have to be more cautious than that, because I've been here before and I've learnt my lesson. I've learnt my lesson not to do that with every manager that comes in. And I think that things, are likely to go a bit different for Michael Duff because he has the right experience, and hopefully the club are going to give him the resources he needs to succeed. And look, I think this summer is huge. Nagel has to back him, has to allow him to bring in the players that he wants, to suit his style. And it's one of those, I'm going to wait and see what happens with it, because that's all you can do, really, isn't it? Now, what I will say is that it kind of defeats the object of this video, because I did obviously in the description of this video, it actually says, do I think Michael Duff can get us back to the championship at the first in the first season, in his first season, at the first attempt. For me personally, look, I think that I'm going to be very cautious with this answer, because I don't want to get too, like I said, I'm not getting too carried away. I think that if he's given the resources, i.e. the players that he wants, and the shape of the squad is looking great come July time, end of July, then I'll start to feel a bit more positive. If we start off very well, I'll start to feel even more positive. And as football fans, we get carried away when results, when we have a good start, we do get carried away, but I think I'm gonna leave this as a reserved answer. I do think you cannot argue with what he's done in his, in his managerial career. He has got success. So from that perspective, I'm hopeful that he can bring that to town. I really am. But there's no guarantees, of course. But I just think, like I said earlier, it seems like a good fit, this. It does. In the back of my mind, it does feel like a good fit. So the signs are promising. And I do think that there is a good, we have got a chance of going straight back up, providing, like I say, is given the resources, and we continue to back him. The fans have to back, have to keep with him. Because I seem to remember at Barnsley, when he came in there, the start wasn't particularly great at the start of Barnsley, but they stuck with him, they stuck with their man, and they started to come good. So what I will say is maybe patience is due at the start of the season. Okay, as fans though, we haven't got much patience, because we've had absolutely, season after season of utter dross. Let's be honest, for ages now. So we haven't got patience. But what I'm saying is, in terms of disappointment, I think that he may have a slow start, because that's what he's about. I'm not saying it's going to be a replica, but it is a possibility. Or he could actually start very well, and then I think that the start of the season, though, I think if you string a very good, if you string some fantastic, if you're on a winning streak or something, or you go on that kind of, positive, spectrum to the start of the season, I think it really lifts it. It'll really lift everybody at the club, and it will then. I think if you start well, I think it gives you a good advantage to be able to find more momentum and more confidence before anybody else gets to find that confidence. If to me, so if he's, I hope I'm making sense, but we're just gonna have to wait and see. So I do think I'm hopeful for him to succeed here. So yeah. But I think that's it, to be honest with you guys. I think I've kind of covered it very well here. Like I say, I wanted to do this video about Michael Duff because I didn't really have time to plan properly, because it was very last minute that I was, very last minute in terms of the live stream that I did the other day, and I didn't really have time to research fully, and now I have, obviously. Hopefully this video has given a better insight into how I feel about the appointment, and kind of just a bit about him himself as well, because I don't think I covered that in the live stream either. So yeah, like I say, I appreciate everybody watching. Anybody that's got to the end, I appreciate you. Please smash the likes, subscribe, and comment your thoughts down below as well, by the way, on what you think of this appointment. Share your thoughts. And do you think we could potentially get back up at the first attempt with, if the signs are promising and we get a good summer, and I think that the fact is I think that we have to, as I say, we have to back him. in this, with players. Like I said, this squad is way off competing. We need to have a competitive squad. And I did actually say that I was going to mention his comments that he made. Now, I did cover this. I'm going to touch upon it briefly before I go. I nearly forgot. So, wait, I'm just going to have a look at what he had to say. Oh my goodness. You can never find it when you need it, can you? Have a look. Can't find. Might be quicker going onto the website. Sorry guys, I will be with you in a second. I did have the oh, I hate when this happens and I can't. Where's got this website? I mean, I'm sorry, but this website is a good upgrade because you can never find anything that you want. It's a bit messy. Here we are guys, there we are. Right, so and I know these are only words, but I just think the signs are there that are promising. I'm not going to judge him on this because, like I say, I need to see action as well. But I think it was interesting. I'm just going to cover one point of this actually. Is where he says, he understands. He says, "I know our supporters expect a certain level of commitment, desire, high energy, and passion from their player, and those are the high standards I've kept for all my sides." So again, these qualities of commitment, desire, high energy, and passion all fit him. So again, I go back to it. This is why this appointment, it feels like it does fit. It's a real good fit. This, if you can, and I know it doesn't guarantee that it will be successful, but if it's a good fit, the signs are there for us to be successful under this guy. And then finally, he said about he recognised that it is a special club, a magnificent history. So again, he knows the history. It's a real honour to have the opportunity to be part of that. I can guarantee that I will give my all for the Huddersfield Town. That's what I'll be asking of my players too. And together, alongside our supporters, we have a pre-season and campaign ahead that will be ready to attack. So again, that ending there. Now I don't know if there's going to be a press conference. Usually there is. When there's a new head coach coming. Maybe that will be. There will be one at some point. We know that. I think, but I just don't know when. I was expecting it maybe to be today, but it might be tomorrow or Friday. We'll have to see. But yeah, I mean, this is where he ends. The final quote here, like I said, recognising the history, and says that it's an exciting future. And again, he's saying he's going to give absolutely everything, and that's something that will get the fans on board. Yes, it's words, and we need to see actions, but he's saying that just kind of, it just perks you up a bit, I suppose. And then he reiterates and reassures the fans. That's what I'll be asking of my players too. So the standards, there are high standards here, and that's what we've been missing for ages now. The high standards of this football club is down the drain, and I've said it before. And he talked about pre-season, and he's having a good pre-season, and then we'll be ready to attack the campaign. Yeah, great. I think he spoke very well, to be honest with you. I think he well, I didn't hear him speak, but obviously he reads very well. But like I say, words are fine, but I want to see actions. Obviously, I'm going to give him every opportunity, and I'm going to stick by this guy, and I think that, hopefully we can see success under him. But yeah, the standards have to be raised at this football club, and I've said, and this is going to be the final point I make today, by the way. The standards, I mean, come on. I don't care if I get called out for this or not. I think a lot of our fan base, majority of our fan base accept mediocrity, and we've accepted it for years, right? We've accepted the owner the owners that have come in, we accepted the mediocre players, we've accepted the mediocre head coaches, we've accepted to not be successful in effect, because when I see people saying, "Oh, be fine," mid-table in League One will be a good season for us. I think that's the comment I saw. One of the comments I saw on social media the other day. I'm thinking to myself, you are the You are part of the problem. You are part of the problem when you're saying we want to, be happy with a mid-table finish in League One. Are you actually joking? And I'm not saying it's going to be easy in League One, but the standards are on the floor with some of these fan base, and I see it every week. The comments that are made, the mediocrity of this fan base is unforgivable, and the fan base have to raise their standards for me. Or I'm not asking people to tell them what to do, but this is our football club, right? If you want to be successful, don't accept mediocrity, which is what we've done for years. And as I said, I think it's completely wrong. But anyway, that's just my opinion. I just think that there's so much mediocrity, acceptance in this fan base. It just really frustrates me and annoys me. What happens to reaching for the stars and setting high standards and going for and expecting to get the very best, because that's what it should be about. Not accepting whatever the club does. Oh, it's fine, it doesn't matter, we're on board, we'll accept anything that the club says or does, because then if you don't, you'll get called negative, and I've had this on social media many a times, by the way. I've had it. I think that the fact of the matter is, whenever you have an opinion that is deemed to call out the club, you get attacked for it on social media. That's what happens. And it's as if you can't have a differing opinion to others. And I think at the end of the day, we don't all have to agree. We don't all have to agree on everything. You can disagree, it's fine. But you don't label everybody who doesn't agree a moaner or being negative, because that's just pathetic. It's pathetic. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion, and it's just opinions, which we'll share, like all those who agree and stay positive over everything. And then at the end of the day, this attacking on social media, I will never hide away from how I feel, so I don't care about what people want to say to me and hate on me and do whatever, because I'll always stay true to what I think. I want this club to be successful. I want to see the club thrive. I say what I do because I want the best for the club, not because I want to be negative all the time and I'm a moaner. No, I don't accept mediocrity, and some parts of this fan base don't like that. They like to be in this positive bubble of everything's okay and we'll accept everything that the club does and it's all going to be fine, all this rubbish, I'm not like that, and I never will be. Anyway, I've ranted and I don't want to go back in, but it just annoys me, guys. It annoys me the levels of mediocrity the majority of this fan base accepts. No wonder, not saying the sole reason of why we struggled, in recent times, but those kind of fans are part of the problem because they're accepting anything that the club does and brushing it over, under the carpet. It's fine. Don't worry about it. You know what I mean? So, look, I hope you did enjoy the video. I am going to end it now. I'm going to end the video. But yeah, I'm going to be back very soon with some more content. Don't worry. At some point. But yeah, thanks all for your support. Thanks for watching. Like I say, please make sure you do drop a like, subscribe to the channel. We're progressing very nicely with the subscribers, guys. We're nearly at 500. Maybe nearly is a bit of a stretch, but we are 43 away from 500. I've really grown on the channel the past few weeks, up to over a month, you could say. To be fair, over the month I've really grown by at least 40 subscribers. So it's great. I really appreciate everybody that tunes in to me, to my content. It means a lot to me, honestly. But yeah, have a good rest of the week. I'll be back very soon. I don't know when. Keep an eye on my socials and everything and things, and yeah, we'll get some more content out very soon. But yeah, like I said, thanks for watching, as I said, and I'll see you very, very soon. Up the town, and for the first time on this channel, Michael Duff's Bar Miami. Come on, let's go.